Hello, welcome to Mind Mastery for Wealth. My name is Rose Thompson. I'm the founder and CEO of Mind Mastery for Wealth. For persons new to my channel, Mind Mastery for Wealth is an innovative educational and research company. We focus on an integrated, holistic approach to help human beings create and achieve their life and business goals in the key areas of financial, wealth creation, health and well-being, as well as personal growth and empowerment. Our content and solution at Mind Mastery for Wealth are scientific evidence-based, and we seek to bridge the gap between science, spirituality, and human potential. The information that we share on this channel for now relates to Nesara, Gesara, and specifically the key benefits that have been suggested will be available to us under Nesara, Gesara. It is my understanding that we are on the cusp of entering the golden age of peace and prosperity, and Nesara, Gesara are a part of this golden age of peace and prosperity. It is my understanding that the greatest wealth redistribution for humanity will occur within this period. I have exciting news to share with you as it relates to the categories of loans, and this is an update to information I've shared in my earlier video. The categories of loans that will be forgiven under Nesara, Gesara. It is my understanding that this is the updated list and could potentially be final. I am recommending that you stay fluid on this. I'll also share the interest, and you will be excited about this, that will be refunded on the specific categories of loan. I'd like to acknowledge the persons that have been with me from my very first video, second perhaps. I am well aware, and I'm acknowledging that it has been a long journey. It has been exciting. It has been frustrating. But I can say now that the frustration for me and perhaps for you has been transformed into excitement. We are, and I'm recording this video on October 30th, 2024. We are approximately 6 days away from that pivotal date, November 5th, 2024, where it is my understanding that this is more than a 4-year presidential election. In September 2023, I came to the decision that the formal announcement of Nesara, Gesara, may be made within 2 windows, a short window or a long window. The short window was 6 months from September 2023. That would have been March 2024. It did not occur. We are now in that long window where I suggested it would be 12 to 14 months. 12 months to September 2023, 14 months to November 2024. It is now in October 2024. It is in that 13th month. I am recording this video on October 30th, 2024 with editing. It should be available by November 2nd, approximately 3 days before that very pivotal date of November 5th, 2024, where it is my understanding it is more than a 4-year election. I'm really excited. Let me say at this stage, I'm excited. I am fascinated. I'm absolutely humbled and grateful to have had the opportunity to become aware of and be able to share with you information on Nesara, Gesara. I'd like to acknowledge my audience. I really appreciate you being with me, especially persons that have been with me from my very first video, perhaps my second video, where I shared my 4-part series on the key benefits in detail that has been suggested will be available to us on the Nesara, Gesara. I'm well aware that this journey has been long. It has been characterized with excitement, with fascination, with frustration. I'm recording this video on October 30th, 2024. We're approximately 6 days away from this pivotal date, November 5th, 2024, in the history of the United States of America. It is my understanding that this is more than a 4-year election, presidential election. This is more than a 4-year presidential election. America stands at crossroad. And again, I am just humbled and grateful to have become aware of this great period. I'm fascinated with a great plan that is unfolding in the public space, just a very small portion, but the behind the scenes, the persons that have been involved in this, executing this great plan with military precision is just absolutely brilliant. And I'd like to acknowledge those persons, both civilian and military, that have worked so very hard. Some persons have made the ultimate sacrifice for us to be at this stage. Let me also acknowledge that I'm aware that a number of persons have experienced financial challenges, perhaps deep financial challenges, myself included. And for the persons who have lost loved ones throughout this journey, you really have my support. I have a number of key information that I'm going to share with you. In this video, I'm going to share information on the following areas. Key, I believe it's timely, and I'll review the key benefits that have been suggested to be available to us under Nesara, Gesara. I will share the categories of loans that will be canceled, will be zeroed out, and what you will be excited about is the categories of loan where interest will be refunded. I'll share treatment of income tax, and this is a big one, and the IRS. I will share information on a country, a South American country that has abolished the tax agency. That's the equivalent of the IRS in that country. I will support this with articles that have come into the public space. Articles where DJT has proposed areas of income will have no tax on that. And I will share an article as well on credit card interest, how DJT has proposed that this will be treated. I'll also share key bills, legislation that are related to the key benefits that have been suggested will be available to us on the Nesara, Gesara. These bills have been introduced to the U.S. House of Representatives, specifically bills that have been proposed, introduced to abolish the income tax, the IRS, the Federal Reserve System, ending the endless, and there's a post, I'm sure, for that. Ending the Federal Reserve System, the Federal Reserve Bank, and very key, the Gold Standard Restoration Act. This is so very critical. I'll share information with you as well. Key information from the Brics, on Brics, especially as it relates to the Brics Summit that occur on October 22nd to 24th, 2024, and that took place in Kazan, Russia. And then I'll conclude with 3 key articles. I'll share article on this very, very important area, the Chevron doctrine being overturned and its implications for regulatory agencies. Information that have come into the public space on potentially how the EBS may be communicated to us as well. And I'll share articles with the DJT proposing this World Liberty Financial Crypto Exchange, and your information as well on the proposed U.S. sovereign wealth fund. Allow me a moment to share my slides with you. Nesara Gesara is the most groundbreaking reformation to occur not only on our planet, but throughout our planet's entire history, as to give you an idea of how impactful Nesara Gesara will be on our lives. Included in Nesara Gesara will be a revaluation of currencies, and a global currency will reset. Nesara is abbreviated for National Economic Security and Reformation Act. A few sources have Nesara as National Economic Stabilization and Reformation Act. Either way, they're speaking to the same Nesara. Gesara is the global version of this act, and it is abbreviated for Global Economic Security and Reformation Act. Nesara is specific to the US, and Gesara relates to all the other countries. There are approximately 209 countries that are signatory to Nesara Gesara. For the revaluation of currencies and the global currency reset, what will occur, and this is my understanding, is that each country's currency will be reset to parity or near parity with the US new gold or asset-backed currency. This is distinct from the Federal Reserve note that we're currently using as the US dollar. And this parity will be evident, especially for international trade. This is evident, especially on the Brics, where the members of Brics have been settling their trade in their national currencies. Let's look now at the key benefits that have been suggested will be available to us under Nesara Gesara. There are approximately 20 key benefits, and I'll be sharing these with you. A quick review. I am encouraging you to review my 4-part series on the Nesara Gesara. These are my earlier videos where I would have provided more details on each of the benefits. Let me highlight here that the information I'm sharing in this video and my other videos are for educational, informational purposes only. I'm not operating as a financial advisor, tax professional, or medical doctor. I am suggesting that for your financial wealth investment related decision, you consult a reputable licensed financial advisor. You may also consult a tax professional. I'm well aware that tax-related issues are also handled by a licensed financial planner or advisor. And for your medical-related decision, that you consult a reputable physician. Gesara cancel, zero out all credit card, student loan, other bank debts. For example, car loans, personal loans. These loans exclude mortgages, and this is an update, the updated information that I've come across, which is different from the earlier information, certainly from the information I've shared in my earlier videos, where all mortgages were going to be canceled or zeroed out. In a few slides, I'll come back and share the key categories. I'll mention these. I'll speak about how the mortgages will be treated, and I'll speak about the categories of loan where the treatment of interest for each category of loans. And these loans are being canceled due to the illegal banking and government activities. And what this is referring to, it is the charging of interest. And this is my understanding that interest should not have been charged on the loans because we are operating a fractional banking system. And what that means is that there's no underlying asset to support these the loans. It is essentially these have been created out of thin air. And that is what makes the activities illegal. So the canceling, zeroing out of debt is referred to as a jubilee, a debt jubilee, or a complete forgiveness of debt. And naturally, this is the Federal Reserve worst nightmare. These for benefits are directly related. In parentheses, for example, number 1, 12, 13, I have these there because I took this information from information that is in the public space. And these are the numbers. If you were to come across this information, this is a number on a particular slide. I have rearranged them for related benefits I have placed for easier presentation. For key benefit number 2, Nesara Gesara initiates new U.S. Treasury bank system, and this will be in alignment with constitutional law. This new system is the quantum financial system, which will replace the traditional legacy banking system. It is my understanding that the system is operating parallel. It is operating in the background, and at some point, the full transition will be made, perhaps when the formal announcement of Nesara Gesara has been made. Nesara Gesara eliminates the Federal Reserve System, and this is absolutely significant because the other benefits, most of the other, if not all the other benefits, are highly dependent on this, the Federal Reserve System. The Federal Reserve System is not a part of the Federal Reserve, is not a part of the federal government, is actually owned by private bankers. And it actually lends money to the federal government and charges interest on this loan. So this is the income tax as well. Abolishing income tax is also related. It's very key. The abolishing of income tax is very key to the ending the Federal Reserve system. And for key benefit number 4, Nesara Gesara creates new U.S. Treasury rainbow currency, and this rainbow currency will be backed by gold, silver, platinum, and other precious metals. And this will effectively end the bankruptcy of the United States, which was initiated by President Franklin Roosevelt in 1933. I have not come across new information on benefit number 4 as soon as I have, and this is so significant, especially for Nesara. I will share that with you in other videos. For key benefit number 5, this is significant, highly related, or the elimination of the Federal Reserve System is highly dependent on the abolishing of the income tax and the abolishing as well of the Internal Revenue Service, IRS. And here the employees of the IRS will not lose their job, that is my understanding, and it is here they will be transferred into the U.S. Department of the Treasury, this National Sales Tax area. Following from 6, which is key, instead of the income tax, Nesara Gesara creates a 14% flat rate on non-essential new items only. Non-essential new items only. Sales tax, and that is what will create revenue for the government, along with the tariff that DJT has been proposing. Food and medicine will not be taxed because these items are considered to be essential. Neither will use items such as old homes be included in the tax. I will stay a little fluid on the 14% because I have seen also 15%. And very key, benefit number 8, Nesara Gesara increases significantly, is my understanding, benefits to senior citizens. I'm super happy about this. Benefit number 8. Benefit number 9, this is just absolutely amazing. Nesara Gesara enables release of over 6,000 patents of suppressed technologies that are being withheld from the public under the guise of national security, including free energy devices, anti-gravity, and sonic healing machines, med beds. Med beds are one of the key highlights of Nesara Gesara and has significant implications for the healthcare industry. I'm super excited because I'm expecting that the work of the great Nikola Tesla will be made available to us. Nikola Tesla is one of my extraordinary sources of inspiration, and he's stated on Mind Mastery's website as just that. I'm fascinated because Tesla wanted to give humanity for free or at a very nominal cost free energy for over 100 years. And he also he discovered radiant energy, which is so significant for health and wellness. So I understand that the med beds are in the behind the scenes at key location, and I'm looking so forward to radiant energy patents from Nikola Tesla being made available to us. Super excited about this because my work on this, my mastery for wealth, for the health and wellness, my focus is on energy medicine. So really excited about this, and I anticipate as well that Wilhelm Reich, whose work, he discovered the orgone energy. Life force or chi are other names for this orgone energy, and he also created the orgone energy accumulator, which was very effective in healing. He has a very interesting history about what happened to his work, but I anticipate that the work of Wilhelm Reich and Nikola, the great Nikola Tesla, will be made available to us. I am super excited about his work. Key benefits number 10, 11, 12. Nesara Gesara 412 returns constitutional law to all courts and legal matters. In another video, I will share information with you as it relates to the bar exam. The new pathways that have been proposed to become an attorney. Key benefit number 12, Nesara Gesara reinstates the original title of nobility amendment. And this title of nobility amendment is actually a proposed and still pending amendment to the US Constitution. What it is proposing is that it would strip United States citizenship from any citizen who accepted a title of nobility from an emperor, king, prince, or foreign power. So that is very key. And for key benefit number 13, Nesara Gesara establishes new presidential and congressional elections within 120 days after Nesara Gesara has been announced formally. The interim government will cancel all national emergencies and return the U.S. back to constitutional law versus admiralty law, law of the sea. It's going to be interesting to see how this key benefit plays out with November 5th, just a mere 6 days, 6 days away, 6 days away. Maybe this benefit will, this benefit number 13 will not be implemented. Let's observe to see how this benefit unfolds. And for number 14, Nesara Gesara monitors elections and prevents illegal election activities of special interest groups. I'm quite sure you are observing that right now. For key benefit number 15, and this is very interesting, it is Nesara Gesara forbids the sale of American birth certificate records as chattel property bonds by the U.S. Department of Transportation. And when I first saw this benefit, I had no idea about this. I have since come across information from sources which it would appear plausible that we were being traded based on our birth certificate, marriage certificates, and those related official documents. It has similarity to the concept of the straw man. And it is my understanding that significant funds from these trades will be returned to us. I'm very curious about this. It does appear plausible. If anyone is watching this video, listening to this video, have any further information on this, please leave a comment in the section below this video if you're comfortable with that. And for number 16, Nesara Gesara restores financial privacy. This is just very, very important. And for key benefit 17, Nesara Gesara ceases all aggressive U.S. government military actions worldwide. It eliminates all current and future nuclear-powered weaponry on planet Earth. It establishes peace throughout the world. And for 20, Nesara Gesara releases unprecedented prosperity with enormous sums of money for humanitarian purposes. Now, 17, 18, and 19 are very interesting benefits, especially what is being played out in the East, the idea, the thought that World War III is a possibility. There are a number of persons who have suggested that World War III has already started. This is what Nesara Gesara proposes, establishes peace throughout the world. And it brings me to the thought from what is being played out now in the public space and certainly behind the scenes, peace through strength. And I'm quite sure you, for persons who are aware, is familiar with this concept or this idea. The release of unprecedented prosperity with enormous sums of money for humanitarian purposes is just so significant. And I will encourage you to watch my introductory video, it will highlight how I came to create my mastery for wealth, in essence, to address a question as to why some individuals are wealthy and others are not, and by extension, why some countries are wealthy and other countries are not. So I'm super excited about this release of unprecedented prosperity. It is really, really high time that the poverty and the suffering, the war, all of that be ended significantly. And we have been promised this 1,000 years of peace and prosperity, and I'm so looking forward to that. I should have highlighted earlier in my video, I'm doing this now, that throughout the video, as you've heard me mention, that sources suggest, without necessarily identifying the sources. I'm doing this deliberately because it is important for you to question everyone and everything. It is also important for you to review for yourself key information, related information. It helps you to develop your own critical thinking. I welcome the opportunity to share with anyone information that you might find good quality information that is not consistent with the information that I'm sharing in this and my other videos. This information I came across, and I'd like to give credit for the source. Without naming it, I will say this information was presented on one of the Rumble channels. Gesara for debt revolving loans that will be canceled or zeroed out under Nesara. These are credit card balances, or credit card balances will be zeroed out. Personal loans, car loans, student loans, and I have, you're gonna ask me about mortgages. I have a slide coming up for the treatment of mortgages. Now, here's what is key. Interest paid to date on the above loans will not be refunded or returned. In my earlier video and up to maybe a week ago, maybe 2 weeks, and this information is an update, it was my understanding that these categories of loans will be zeroed and canceled out, and the interest would have been returned. That was my understanding, but this has changed. Especially for the student loans, it was my understanding that the interest, the student loans would be canceled and the interest would be returned for the student loan. This update reflects differently. It is saying that interest paid on these categories of loans will not be returned, will not be refunded. And when I saw this, I said, oh my goodness, I was hoping that from one or more of these categories, I would have had interest returned to me. The next slide, Joe, I'm happy about that because although interest will not be returned on any of these categories of loans, let's see what the next slide highlights. All open lines of credit will be permanently closed. Let me highlight, all lines of credit that are open will be permanently closed. Please continue to service your loans, to pay your bills until the formal announcement of this is made or the balances you have are canceled or zeroed out. It is very important for you to observe that. The treatment for the IRS income tax, property tax is that, again, the IRS will be abolished. Income tax, yes, indeed, will be abolished. And I'm going to share articles in the public space where DJT has proposed the no tax on key areas of income. Here's what is very, very important, and this should get you excited, is that income tax previously paid will be collected by the payee. Income tax previously paid will be collected by the pay. Should I say all income tax that you have paid throughout your life, coming back to the key benefits on slide number, I think it's 5 or 6. Income tax previously paid will be collectible by the pay. I do not have any information on as to how this will be administered or the time frame. I am going to suggest a time frame where I think there's a possibility formal announcement may not be made in November 2024 based on events that are unfolding. I'm going to suggest towards the end a potential timeline that I believe Nesara, Gesara, the formal announcement will be made. Although you might have gleaned that based on the fact that we are now just 6 days away from November 5th. Continuing, property tax previously paid is not collectible. Yes, I understand because some of the property tax that have been paid is significant, but property tax previously paid is not collectible. I have no information as to how the decision was made to return, for example, income tax, make that collectible, as opposed and not also include property tax previously paid, as well as the interest on the student loan, the credit card, the car loans, and other personal loans. Maybe it is just a challenge involved in ascertaining the interests that have been related or are related to those balances. Again, I believe most, if not all, groups will benefit from the income tax being collectible, and this has got to be one of the most significant items where the monies that you have paid, that we have paid, will be returned to us. Key as well is that current debt collection will cease permanently. So any outstanding balances that there are for income tax or property tax as well will cease. Let me highlight, I'm encouraging you to continue to pay your taxes, your outstanding balances, until formal announcement is made or your outstanding balances that you have been canceled. And coming up on the next slide is the treatment of the creation of this national sales tax. I mentioned that earlier, that a 14% flat rate sales tax on non-essential new items only. This is to provide revenue for the government will be implemented. I'm remaining fluid because there is a possibility it could be 15%. I'll continue to observe to see how this one unfolds. And again, employees of the IRS will be transferred into the U.S. Treasury, Department of the Treasury National Sales Tax area. This is my understanding based on the information that was shared by this source, and it is from one of the Rumble channels. Treatment of mortgages. Mortgages along with income tax are the big ones. And interest refund for mortgages, including home equity loans and reverse mortgages, is my understanding. And here goes, all current mortgage debts will be reduced by the amount of interest the payee has paid, and all previous and current mortgages you can consider to be the lifetime of the payee in terms of interest, or the history in terms of the pay for mortgages. For example, if the interest paid on all previous and current mortgages exceeds the current mortgage balance or balances, if the payee has or the mortgagee has more than one mortgage, the mortgage balance or balances will be canceled, zero out, and any remaining interest will be returned to the payee. Let me use an example here. For example, if you have a mortgage, a current mortgage for $500,000, and you have paid interest that totals $200,000. The interest portion of $200,000 will be applied to your current outstanding mortgage balance, and you will have a remaining balance of $300,000. If you have more than one mortgages, let's say you have 5 mortgages, and cumulatively those mortgages total $1 million. And over the life of the mortgages, you have paid interest of, for easy calculation, approximately $500,000. Then the interest of that $500,000 will be applied to the 5 mortgages that you maintain. And the remainder of that mortgage balance will be $500,000. I'm thinking that I do not have the details as to how they will apply the interest to what which mortgage. I'm thinking that possibly I don't know if you will be given the decision, you'll be part of that decision-making process to indicate what mortgages you would like the interest to be applied to. Thinking that your primary residence will be taken into consideration in this decision. For an example where interest could be returned to you is, for example, you have a mortgage of current balance of $200,000. The interest that you have paid on the current mortgage, as well as any previous mortgages, would perhaps total $500,000. Then the interest of $500,000 first would be applied to your outstanding mortgage balance of $200,000, and I'm using these numbers for easy calculation. $500,000 applied to $200,000 outstanding mortgage balance. The remaining interest of $300,000 will be returned to you. Summarizing this key item, all interest paid on previous and current mortgages will be returned to you. First, the total interest will be applied to any outstanding mortgages, that balances that you have, and where the interest exceeds the mortgage balance, the remaining interest will be returned to you. If there are any payees that currently, and I am aware that there are a number of persons that may be in this category, if there are any payee that currently has no mortgages, currently without a mortgage, who has paid interest on a mortgage in the past, and I'm thinking if you had a mortgage in the past, you would have paid interest, the total interest paid will be returned to the payee. I think this is just remarkable because the mortgage balance is not being written off. And so you would say, well, what is it in it for me? What is in it for you is that the interest, you were diligent, you paid off your mortgage, but the total interest that you paid on any mortgage in the past, the interest will be returned to use. Decision involved in this mortgage interest, the application of the outstanding, the interest paid to the date on the interest paid to date, the application to the current balances and any excess being returned, and the payee that currently has no mortgage. I believe that the players behind the scene did a very good job in trying to find a balance that would be beneficial to most persons. So very key for mortgages, very significant. And this application or this treatment, along with the income tax that will be collectible. Let me highlight again, I'm asking you, I'm encouraging you to continue to pay your mortgages, continue to service your loans until formal announcement is made or your mortgage balances balances are canceled or zeroed out. I'm very happy that I was able to get this information. I waited to create the video because I wanted to include the information, key information from the Brics Summit. And in waiting, I came across this information. So I'm very happy to have shared this information. And I noticed that this information came very close to the November 5th date. Very happy to have been able to share this information with you. I'm going to share now articles that have appeared in the public space, which where DJT has proposed no tax on certain income-related items. The first article on the no tax. Trump proposes new tax break on car loan interest. This was published on October 10th, 2024 in CNBC. I will highlight the key points. Donald Trump supported making interest on car loans fully tax deductible, the latest in a suite of tax cut promises the Republican presidential nominee has made in the weeks before Election Day. The former president also promised to bar Chinese-made autonomous vehicles from driving on American roads if he beats Kamala Harris. There it is, fully deductible, similar to the mortgage interest. The next article highlights, here it is. This is in the New York Post on September 19. Trump suggests capping annual credit card interest rates at 10%. The critics fear price controls. Let's observe, see how this unfolds. It says former President Donald Trump floated limiting annual credit card interest rates to a maximum of 10%. And this is during a campaign. My understanding is that there will be no interest, or the interest rate on loans would be very nominal. Again, let's observe to see how this unfolds. There is the thought in the movement that says promises made, promises kept. Maybe that was for something else. Let's observe to see how this unfolds. Let me start with this big, and this is the big one, this article. Trump floats ending the federal income tax. Here's what that would mean. Published in CNN, October 27th, 2024. It says, after promising, this is the big one, after promising to eliminate taxes on tips, Social Security benefits, and overtime pay, former President Donald Trump is taking aim at the largest levy of them all, the federal income tax. you know, the execution of this in terms of the communication is awesome, because this was left to last. Started slowly with no tax on tips, no tax on tips, social security benefit overtime, and then others. I have the other articles to share with you. So this was the big one, 2020, October 27th, just 3 days ago. And this article, Trump promises no taxes on tips, the pros and cons explained, published by Forbes on June 24th, 2024. And I shared this with you in my last video, where former President Donald Trump has doubled down on his latest campaign promise to eliminate federal taxes on tips for service workers. And for the next promise he made, Trump unveils no tax on overtime pay policy in Arizona. Remarks published by CBS, and this article was published on September 17, 2024. To eliminate income taxes on overtime pay if he wins a second term in November. He goes on to promise he would consider eliminating taxes on cops, military, and vets as well. That's really special, I'd want to say, dedicated group of persons. Absolutely no taxes for them. And this is in Yahoo Finance, initially published by the Fiscal Times, dated October 18, continuing in his quest. This is what the article says: to find taxes to eliminate for specific voting groups. Former President Donald Trump said Friday that he would consider eliminating federal income taxes for first responders, members of the military, and the vets. This article, Trump's plan to end taxes on Social Security income, and it says it's a fatal mistake. Lawmaker says what that would mean for benefits. And this is published by CNBC, August 14, 2024. As Social Security key points mark its 89th anniversary, the program faces looming fund depletion dates. We're well aware of that. Lawmakers have suggested tax changes, including eliminating taxes on benefits or raising how much the wealthy must contribute to the program. So that is for Social Security. On the next, for businesses, Donald Trump's proposal to lower the corporate tax rate to 15%. This proposal is on the corporate side. Donald Trump proposal to lower the corporate tax rate to 15%, published on September 6, 2024 in the by the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget. And it says President Trump recently proposed lowering the corporate rate from 21 to 15% for corporations and that make their products in America, made in America. Under one possible structure, we estimate this could reduce revenue by about $200 billion through fiscal year 2035. Very, very significant. Most recent proposal is where Trump announces support for tax breaks for family caregivers. Beautiful. This was published on October 28, 2024 by Fox Business. Former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris have expressed similar stance on elder care. So very detailed, the various areas of income for individuals, for corporation, and now caregivers, where proposed tax breaks have been suggested. Let's observe to see how this unfolds. And remember, promises made, promises kept. Sharing now related bill, key legislation. This is from published on congress.gov, HR Bill 25, entitled Fair Tax Act of 2023, and I have shared these bills in my previous video. And so this was the latest action, January 1st, 2023, referred to the House Committee on Ways and Means by Rep. Carter, Earl L. Buddy Carter. And it is, here's what it is proposing or introducing. This bill imposes a national sales tax on the use or consumption in the United States of taxable property or services in lieu of the current income taxes, payroll taxes, and estate and gift taxes. The rate of the sales tax will be 23% in 2025. Just note the year. The rate, as I've highlighted in my previously, it's 14%. I'm staying fluid on if it is goes to 15% with adjustment to the rate in subsequent years. There are exemptions from the tax for use and intangible property for property or services purchased for business, for export or investment purposes, and for state government functions. And it states the family members who this bill is applicable to. It states the states have the responsibility for administering, collecting, and remitting sales tax to the Treasury. Power goes back to the people. And key here is that no funding is authorized for the operations of the Internal Revenue Service after 2027. Note that year, that's very interesting, suggesting that the IRS will be abolished. And then finally, the bill terminates the national sales tax if the 16th Amendment to the Constitution, which authorized income tax, is not repealed within 7 years after the enactment of this bill. So very key on the abolishing the IRS income tax and the establishing or implementation of the national sales tax. So HR 8421 Bill Federal Reserve Board Act, Abolition Act, published on congress.gov, introduced on the 16th of the 5th, 2024 by Rep. Thomas Massey, and it is proposing to abolish the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System and the Federal Reserve Banks, to repeal the Federal Reserve Act, and for other purposes. So essentially ending the endless. Essentially ending the endless along with HR 125, which addresses the Fair Tax Act of 2023, introducing the national sales tax on consumption, eliminating the income tax and the IRS. And now let me share with you the Gold Standard Restoration Act, HR 2435 on congress.gov, introduced as far back as the 30th of the 3rd, 2023 by Rep. Alexander X. Mooney. And here is what it is highlighting. This is so very key. The bill requires the Department of the Treasury to define the Federal Reserve note dollar in terms of a fixed weight of gold based on that day's closing market price of gold. Federal Reserve banks must exchange Federal Reserve notes with gold at this price and create processes to facilitate exchanges between banks and the public. Guys, you will be given the opportunity to exchange your notes for gold. If a Federal Reserve Bank does not do this, the Treasury must make any exchange and place a corresponding lien on the assets of that bank. In addition, Treasury and the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve must report on U.S. gold holdings. This is a key bill, a key piece of legislation supporting the key benefits I highlighted earlier, especially eliminating the, I see it was key benefit number 3. No, this benefit was key benefit number 4. The Gold Standard Restoration Act. Here's the article. I spoke of the South American country which abolish or dissolve their tax bureau, their tax agency. The country is Argentina. Article published on October 10th, 2024 by Buenos Aires Times, that AFIP to ARCA, Milei government, and that's the President Milei government announces dissolution of the tax bureau. Argentina's government say it will shuttle AFIP tax collection agency and replace it with ARCA. This move will see a 34% reduction in staffing levels, reducing staff, reducing government, Argentina. And just based on what I have been observing, based on my observation, I believe Argentina is providing a model, a blueprint for other countries. Reduction in government, the solution of the tax bureau, and other measures that Milei has implemented. Sharing information now on Brics as it relates to the summit in Kazan, Russia, held on October 22nd to 2024. Brics, this is key. Brics unveils symbolic banknote, pushes for local currency trade amid dollar debate. Recall I mentioned the local currency, where in terms of the revaluation of currencies, the global currency reset, where countries will go back to using their national currency. This was published in the Financial Express on October 24, and I'll read briefly. At the Brics Summit in Kazan, a symbolic banknote featuring the flags of member nations was unveiled, sparking discussions on creating alternatives to the US dollar and fostering a more independent economic system. And it was expected at the summit that the world reserve currency backed by gold and other precious metals or other assets would have been unveiled. That did not happen. And so at the Brics Summit, the symbolic Brics banknote was igniting discussion on reshaping global finance. The banknote, which features the flags of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, the abbreviation for countries abbreviated Brics, symbolizes the collective ambitions of these nations to explore alternatives as opposed to eliminating the US dollar, alternatives to the US dollar in cross-border transactions. This development highlights the growing effort within BRICS to establish a more independent economic system, one that is less reliant on Western financial structure. So this is very interesting, not having the world reserve currency from BRICS backed by gold. And let me share now information on gold holdings itself. So just to give you an insight on the demand for gold, this article published by Bloomberg, Yahoo Finance, gold demand tops 100 billion as Western investors charge in. And you would have noticed, and I'm looking here, gold to price at 2,791.50 cents. Topping today's October 30th, it ended at almost 2,800, a record high. So this article was published on October 30th. Today, very recent, global gold demand swelled about 5% in the third quarter, setting a record for the period and lifting consumption above 100 billion for the first time, according to the Gold Council. Investment flows were key to the metal's 13% gain in the third quarter, with total demand for ETFs, bars, and coins reaching the strongest level since Russia's invasion of Ukraine. In 2024, the central bank's purchases continued. Central banks continue to purchase the whole gold in their reserve. Poland, Hungary, and India among the top buyers, even as the price of official activities slow. Guys, now may be a good time for you to review your 401k, your investments, your savings, and for your 401k, and this is from an educational perspective only, you may want to look at your portfolio and the possibility of the switch to a 401k IRA that is backed by gold and possibly silver. In concluding, I'm sharing this very key article on Chevron doctrine. The Supreme Court weakens federal regulators, overturning decades-old Chevron decision. Published by AP, Associated Press. I know it is a little bit dated, but it is so key. On June 28, 2024. The Supreme Court on Friday upended a 40-year-old decision that made it easier for the federal government to regulate the environment, public health, workplace safety, and consumer protections, delivering a far-reaching and potentially lucrative victory to business interests. The court's 6 conservative justices overturned the 1984 decision colloquially known as Chevron, long a target of conservatives who have been motivated as much by weakening the regulatory state as social issues, including abortion. The liberal justices were in dissent. The case was the conservative-dominated court's clearest and boldest repudiation yet of what critics of regulation call the administrative state. So this is, this is a very, very key decision that has implication for regulatory agencies. The heart of the Chevron decision says federal agencies should be allowed to fill in the details when laws aren't crystal clear, when laws are ambiguous. Opponents of the decision argue that it gave power that should be wielded by judges to experts who work for the government. And effectively, what this is doing is ending the administrative state, or repudiation actually of the administrative state. Chief Justice John Roberts wrote that courts must exercise their independent judgment in deciding whether an agency has acted within its statutory authority, effectively giving back the power to the people. So very key, and I'm going to leave this article or encourage you to read this article at your own convenient time. I believe this article is EBS related, potentially signaling, indicating how the EBS will be rolled out to us or communicated to us. T-Mobile customers will get Starlink satellite internet directly on their mobiles first, and others only later, says SpaceX CEO Elon Musk. Here's Elon Musk. This article was published on September 2nd, 2024 in Benzinga. And it is saying that SpaceX CEO Elon Musk said on Saturday that T-Mobile US Inc. subscribers in the US will get direct to mobile phones internet with the help of Starlink satellites first and other telecommunication service providers later. Starlink direct to mobile phone internet, this is key, is exclusively with T-Mobile in the US for the first year, then other carriers thereafter, says Elon Musk. We are starting off working with one carrier in each country, but ultimately hope to serve all carriers. Here's what is key. Starlink direct to mobile phone internet is exclusively with T-Mobile in the US for the first year. Then other carriers thereafter, Musk wrote on X. We are starting off working with one carrier in each country, but ultimately hope to serve all carriers. What is key is that SpaceX now has 160 Starlink satellites with direct-to-cell capabilities in orbit, and T-Mobile will have no more dead zones in the US later this year, thanks to Starlink access. SpaceX Senior Director of Satellite Engineering, Ben, said, direct to cell phone, bypassing all other means of transmission. That means if that famous tweet is made, my fellow Americans, the storm is upon us, directly from SpaceX to your mobile phones. This, I believe, is indicating how the EBS will be transmitted. Let me use that term to us. Continuing on, and I am sharing this article with you. I do not know if we have been told that at some point there are key events that should unfold. One being the financial system possibly will collapse. The World War III situation is very it has been highlighted. The World War III situation scenario has been highlighted. Near death necessary experience, we have been told, is likely to occur. I do not know if this is an indication here with the zero balance in terms of the collapse of the financial system to transition us to the quantum financial system. If this is a collapse of the traditional legacy banking system to transition us to the new quantum financial system. But here's this article and here's what has occurred. Bank of America customers report account outages, some seeing balances of zero. The peak of outages was around 1 p.m. According to Down Detector, some customers reported problems accessing their accounts. This article published in USA Today on October 2024. I thought I'd share this with you. Share now information on decentralized finance with Donald Trump says his crypto project World Liberty Financial. Note the name. Liberation of Finance will start selling tokens on Tuesday. This article was published on October 13, 2024 in original in Bazinga, carried by Yahoo Finance, and it says Donald Trump supported decentralized finance protocol World Liberty Financial's token sale will go live on Tuesday morning. The former president said, "What happened? This is your chance to help shape the future of finance." He wrote, the president also urged interested candidates to take part in the X Spaces event to be held on Monday regarding the token sale. Closing with this final article published on the 5th of September 2024 in Mail Online, caption, Trump unveils plans for U.S. sovereign wealth fund like Saudi Arabia and reveals how he would pay for it. And Donald Trump unveiled a radical new plan to use cash from tariffs to fuel a sovereign wealth fund to invest in roads, airports, and defense technology. And he did this on Thursday. It is a sort of build a wall idea beloved by the former president as he searches for a populist proposal that can excite voters. Wealth funds are generally set up by governments awash with spare cash generated by oil or gas finds. Drill for oil. And Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Kuwait have some of the most powerful examples. This is to give you an indication of potentially what is likely to be made available to us. We are indeed observing the systematic destruction of the old guard and the emergence of a restored republic, which will include peace and prosperity. Again, we are on the crux of what is considered to be the golden age of peace and prosperity, where we will experience the greatest wealth redistribution for a change for all humanity. I am truly humbled. I'm truly excited to be a part of this historic period, to be aware and to be able to observe the events and contribute by sharing information with you. What a period. What an absolute remarkable period to be alive, to be aware, to be awake and aware of what is happening. This great plan that is being executed in the background, coming each day clearer and clearer with the key events unfolding in the public space is absolutely an amazing time to be alive. The journey has been very interesting. I am profoundly grateful and absolutely humbled to be a part of this historic period, to have been afforded the opportunity to observe almost in real time, well, based on the information in the alt media behind the scenes and what has unfolded, the events that have unfolded in the public space, to observe the systematic destruction of the old guard over 4 years now, and the emergence of a restored republic is absolutely about it, however we want to share it with others. I have placed in the description below the contact details that we can be reached with any queries you may have about the information I've shared in this and my other videos. I've also placed the website address for Mind Mastery for Wealth. I'm encouraging you to visit the website. It has great resources to help you to develop a mindset and belief system that embraces and think in terms of possibilities and abundance. I'm encouraging you to leave your comments as well. I look forward to reading and responding to those comments. If you have not already done so, I'm encouraging you to subscribe to my channel and to like the video, only because I understand it allows the algorithm to reach more persons, and that is my intent. And also to share this video with any persons you believe the content will add value to their lives. I'm now suggesting a timeline for the formal announcement of Nesara, Gesara, November 5th. It's just 6 days approximately away from us. I continue to observe to see how this unfolds. I'm expecting that the formal announcement will be made anytime after November 5th, November 6th onwards, possibly to January 21st, 2025. You are aware of the significance of that date. Thank you so much for watching my video. Let's continue to observe this historic period. I look forward to sharing information with you.